would say three main things. The first one is about the politicization of this election. Obviously, because of the Treaty of Lisbon, we knew that the majority of the European Parliament will have maybe the capacity to determine who will be the president of the European Commission. We have this statement, and we have the result. So that means Mr. Juncker is the president of the European Commission, but at the same time, we do not know if this politicization will have a positive effect on the European integration, because in principle, according to the treaty, the European Commission should not be a political instrument. So the question will be, what will be the impact of this politicization on the functioning of the European institution and the famous institutional triangle. The second one, still, I mean, this is a kind of paradox, but at the same time that we wanted to politicize the European Parliament election, we see in all the member states more and more coalitions in power. So what does it mean? Of course, it seems like the European Parliament, where you do not have any majority, and of course all the legislation has to be agreed by political parties. This is also the same trend in a lot of European countries. So how this paradox will work in the long run, I mean, in the next 5 years. The second thing is about we've got the European Parliament. Of course, Miss mentioned the fact about the extreme right or the populist party and so on. I'm very clear on that. This is democracy. So people have voted for them, and we have to hear that. Otherwise, we will have big troubles in the next years. So the question is, what does it mean, this message sent by the European citizens voting for populist Euroscepticism, or people who just don't know how it works, and they have some fear about what should be the European Union in the forthcoming years. So we have to listen what the European citizens vote a few weeks ago. The second thing is about and this is why I presume this first meeting is important. We are political foundation, so we should try to find some solutions. What we need to do now in order to make sure that the next legislature will be a success for the European Union. And I presume that this kind of meeting should be repeated in a certain sense, making sure that we exchange and try to propose a certain number of things. So this is my third point. We need to reorient, almost to boost, in a certain sense, the European integration. This is not less Europe that we need. We need more Europe, maybe a different one, but we need surely more Europe. We need some clarification. We need simplification of the European institutions, because one of the explanation that the Euroscepticism is about the complexity of the institutions. This is not simple to explain how it works. If you mentioned that you have explained the elections in the member states, I mean, to understand how it works completely.
It was the other way around.
Of course, but this is complicated, even expert in the European integration, and I could try to ask a certain number of people in the room to know exactly what is the decision-making process for one field or another, what kind of majority, qualified majority, or and so on. So this is complicated for us, even the Brussels bubble. In the member states, this is also very complicated, and this is why you've got 24% of Front National in France. This is why you have 20% of 5 stars in Italy. This is why you've got a certain number of political parties who are just saying, Brussels, this is too complicated, this is something different from the member states, we don't want that. And we need to have more pedagogy, more explanation, but not just us, also the politicians, because very often the politicians are just instrumentalized the European integration for national purpose. And we, as political foundation in the European Parliament, we should be aware of that and mentioning that sometimes our politicians, have a big responsibility in terms of pedagogy and explanation of the European institutions.